Hi, my name is Manpreet Singh and my student ID is 240104, and today I will presenting my analysis of three significant recent information security attacks and examining their vulnerabilities, explosion methods and mitigation strategies. And first of all, I'm starting with the introduction. The purpose of this presentation to analyze three major security breaches that have occurred in recent year, each exploiting different types of vulnerabilities, and we will explore how these attacks were executed and their impact on affected organizations, and most importantly what the defense measure could have present them. And I'm also starting with the security examined, and I will focusing on three distinction attacks. Firstly, the move it and transfer exploitation from 2023, which involved SQL injections, vulnerability in widely used file transfer application, and resulted in one of the more largest data breaches of recent year. And second, the solar wind supply chain attack from 2020 and 2021, a sophisticated operation that compromised the software build environment to distribute the malicious code through the legitimate updates. And third one is the Microsoft Exchange proxy not shell vulnerabilities from 2022, which allowed attackers to compromise email server and worldwide using server-side request forgery combined with remote code and execution techniques. And after that, move it transfer. So the move it transfer breaches was discovered in May 2023 when Progress Software disclosed a critical SQL injection vulnerability in the move it transfer file transferred application. The vulnerability tracks as CVE 2023 and 34362 was quickly exploited by the CLOP ransomware group in a massive campaign. And the other one is, from a technical perspective, the vulnerability existed in the web application component of moving it transfer, especially in how application processed user input were interacting with its underlying SQL database. The core issue was failure to properly sanitize and validate user supplied inputs before incorporating them into a SQL queries. This allow attackers to inject malicious SQL commands that database would execute with the application privileges. And the explanation methodology follow the some phrases. Attackers first identify internet expose, move it transfer through scanning, and they then excluded specially crafted HTTP request with malicious SQL payloads. This allowed them to bypass authentication and gain administrative access. They developed web shells for the persistent access. And finally, they systematically accelerated sensitive data from the compromised database. Uh, the next topic is impact and mitigation. The impact of this breach extended far beyond the immediate data left. Organization experienced significant operational distribution, regulatory, security, and reputational damage, and many were forced to take critical system offline during investigation and remediation. Several mitigation strategies could have prevented or significantly reduced the impact, and timely applications of the emergency patch would have closed the vulnerability window. Web application firewalls could have detected and blocked the SQL injection attempts. Network segmentation would have limited access to move it and instance, and proper input validation through SQL queries and premeditation would have prevented injection and vulnerability entirely. And the movie did case to demonstrate how the single vulnerability in widely used application can lead to industry-wide impact when exploited at scale.
Hi, my name is Crispy Kaur. Today I will represent my topic solar winds supply chain attack. Firstly, I will represent compromise the software built environment, which is in a recent intelligence timeline March December 2020 affected 18,000 organizations installed and 100 organizations are deeply compromised. After that, I will represent solar winds. Build environment security gaps, code signaling, infrastructure compromise, inflected trust in software supply chain. Then I will represent some method, development environment, sub trust backdoor into build process, distribute updates through channel. Then I will represent solar winds impact and mitigations. Firstly, I will represent major impact of solar winds. Firstly, compose of multiple government agencies, access to highly information, long-term security, erosion of trusted systems. Then I will discuss some mitigation strategies, secure built environment protection, software supply chain verification, zero trust implementation, enhanced detections. Then I will discuss Microsoft Exchange. Firstly, vulnerability, SSRF, and remote code. Then multiple threat actors, including APT15. Timeline August September 2022 affected 2,40,000 and financial impact $1.4 plus multiple per erosion. Then I will discuss exchange, proxy, not sale. Firstly, I will discuss some specifics. Server side respect in auto devicer component, remote code via PowerShell, excessive service account, and then I will discuss some method obtain valid SSRF to access internal endpoint. Then I will discuss some systems, Babsel and Move. Thank you.
And the topic is impact and mitigation. The impact of this vulnerability was significant on our organization experience extensive data theft, including sensitive email communications, personal information, and authentication credential. And many were forced to take exchange server offline during the remediation, causing business disruption of communication challenges and effective mitigation strategies, including timely patch management with priority for internet facing system, implementation of multi-factor authentication for all exchange access, network segmentation to isolate exchange servers, and enhanced monitoring with alerts of suspicious PowerShell commands. The topic is common attack patterns for the vulnerabilities, and all three attackers exploited trust in some form, whether trust is application inputs, software updates, and authenticated access. The highlights are the growing trend to attackers targeting trusted system and mechanism. Each attack utilizes multi-stage approaches, starting with the initial access, establishing precedent, then moving laterally to access vulnerable data. This methodical approach helps attackers for evade detection while maximizing impact. The attackers also employed sophisticated evasion techniques, including dormancy periods, the traffic manipulation to blend the lagminated activities and evidence removal through log detection. And next one is key mitigation strategies. Based on our analysis, several critical mitigation strategies emerge. First, effective patch management is essential. Organization must prioritize patching internet facing system, implement emergency patching protocols for critical vulnerabilities, and verify that patches are properly applied. Second, defense in depth is crucial for protecting against sophisticated attacks. This includes implementing multiple security layers, adopting zero trust principle that eliminate implicit trust, and enforcing the principle of least privilege across all systems. Third, compromise monitoring and detection capabilities are necessary to identify attacks in progress. This includes behavior analytics to spot unusual patterns, enhance logging for forensic capabilities, and abnormally detection system that can identify deviation for the normal operations. And other one is organizational recommendation. At the organization level, recommends key initiative, security program enhancement through regular assessments, tabulative exercise to practice incident response, ongoing security awareness training for all employees, implementation of technical controls including application security testing, network segmentation to limit attack progression, multi-factor authentication to critical credential abuse, robust endpoint protection. Finally, organizations should develop compromising recovery planning with offline backups that cannot be encrypted by ransomware. Business continuity plans to maintain critical operations during incidents, detailed incident response or playbooks for common attack scenarios. And I'm going to ending this topic with the conclusion. And in conclusion, the three attacks were examined demonstrate that no organization is immune from sophisticated cyber threats. Single layer defense are clearly insufficient against determined attackers, making a proactive layer security posture essential. The key takeaway is that security must be approached ongoing process rather than a finite project. The threat landscape continues to evolve with attackers constantly developing new techniques to bypass defenses. Organizations must therefore maintain vigilance and regularly resist their security control. While security investments may sometimes be difficult to justify, these cases study clearly demonstrate that the cost of prevention is far lower than the cost of breach. By implementing the mitigation strategy we have discussed, organizations can significantly reduce the risk exposure and build resilience against the emergency threats.